Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a big one, arthritis. It's a word we all know, but what does it really mean? We're going to get the full picture, so let's jump right in.
You know that feeling, maybe it's a stiffness when you first wake up that just doesn't want to go away, or that nagging ache in your hands, your knees, your back. If any of that rings a bell, believe me, you are in very good company.
Just look at this number. Nearly 1 in every 4 adults in the U.S. is dealing with arthritis. That's almost 60 million people. It's actually the #1 cause of disability in the country. That's a staggering number, and it shows you just how massive this issue truly is.
But here's the thing, and this is probably the biggest misconception out there. Arthritis isn't just one single thing. It's really an umbrella term. Think of it like a giant family tree with over 100 different conditions that can damage your joints and sometimes even other parts of your body. So to really get it, we've got to break it down. Okay, so before we can zoom in on arthritis, we need to zoom out just a little bit and talk about the bigger category these conditions belong to, rheumatic disease. So what in the world is that? Well, rheumatic diseases are conditions that hit your musculoskeletal system, your joints, muscles, bones, the whole shebang. And here's the crucial part. A lot of them are autoimmune disorders. That means your own immune system, which is supposed to be your bodyguard, gets its signals crossed and starts attacking your own healthy tissues. That's where all that inflammation and pain comes from.
To really see what I mean, let's compare the two heavy hitters. On one side, you've got osteoarthritis, or OA. This is what most people think of as wear and tear. It's mechanical damage to that smooth cartilage that cushions your bones. But then you have rheumatoid arthritis, or RA, which is a totally different beast. This is a classic autoimmune condition where your immune system directly attacks the lining of your joints, causing that painful swelling that can, over time, really mess things up.
All right, so with over 100 suspects, how on earth do doctors figure out which one is causing the trouble? Well, honestly, it's a lot like being a detective. It's this whole diagnostic journey of putting clues together. It always starts with you, your story. When did the pain start? Is it worse in the morning? Then the doc does a physical exam, checking your joints, seeing how they move. But to really build the case, they got to look under the hood.
And that's where lab work is key. You've got blood tests that look for general signs of inflammation, like ESR and CRP. Think of those as the first smoke signals. Then they look for more specific clues, like an antibody called rheumatoid factor, or RF. But the real smoking gun for RA is often something called the anti-CCP antibody. If that comes back positive, it's a very strong indicator of rheumatoid arthritis.
The final piece of evidence? It's visual. An X-ray is usually the first step. It lets the doctor see exactly what's going on inside. Things like the space between the joints getting smaller, or even tiny erosions in the bone. It's the visual proof that helps confirm what all the other clues are pointing to. So once the case is cracked and there's a diagnosis, it's all about treatment. And here is the really good news. The toolkit for fighting back against arthritis has gotten so much better, giving people way better outcomes today. The first line of defense is usually something you've already heard of, NSAIDs. Yep, we're talking about ibuprofen and naproxen. They're great for taking the edge off, reducing both the pain and the inflammation, and giving you some relief while your doctor figures out a more long-term game plan. But for the inflammatory types, like RA, the real game changers are these things called DMARDs. That stands for disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. And the name says it all. They don't just mask the symptoms, they go right to the source to quiet down that overactive immune system, which can actually slow the disease down and prevent more damage.
And the DMARD arsenal is, wow, it's incredible now. You've got your conventional ones, like methotrexate, which have been around for a while, but then you get into the biologics. These are amazing. They're basically lab-engineered proteins that act like guided missiles, targeting very specific parts of the inflammatory process. And now there are even targeted synthetics, like JAK inhibitors, which are pills that work from inside your cells to shut down the inflammation signal right at the source. It's pretty amazing stuff.
But here's the thing. Managing arthritis isn't just about what comes in a pill bottle. It's also about empowering yourself, right? It's about learning new strategies for protecting your joints and just navigating daily life. Let's talk about some of these principles because they're so practical.
First, respect your pain. Your body is talking to you, so listen. Don't just push through it. Distribute the load. Instead of gripping a grocery bag with your fingers, loop it over your forearm. Try not to stay in one position for too long, and of course, things like managing your weight and just simplifying tasks can make a huge difference in the strain you put on your body.
Now, this next one might sound kind of backward when you're hurting, but trust me, it's absolutely critical. Movement is medicine. Gentle activity helps circulate the synovial fluid in your joints. The best analogy is it's like putting oil on a rusty hinge. That lubrication is what cuts down on stiffness and actually helps you move better in the long run.
And look, living with a chronic condition isn't just physical, it's emotional too. So it is so important to remember that you are not in this alone. There are amazing resources out there. Helplines, support groups, webinars, online communities. Just connecting with people who actually get what you're going through, that can be a total game changer for your well-being.
So with all these amazing treatments and smarter ways to manage the day-to-day, life with arthritis has improved so much. But what's next? Where are we headed? Let's take a peek into the future.
The big goal, the holy grail, really, is personalized medicine. The idea is to get away from this one-size-fits-all approach. We're moving toward a future where your treatment is completely tailored to you, to your body and your specific type of disease.
And the key to unlocking that future is something called biomarkers. Think of them as tiny clues or signals in your body that can tell us a ton of information. For example, there's a biomarker called anti-RA33. We're now learning that patients who have this marker tend to respond really well to certain drugs. Finding these clues means a doctor could one day pick the perfect treatment for you right from day one. No more trial and error.
Which brings us to this final, pretty mind-blowing question. If we get good enough at reading these biomarkers, could we actually get to a point where we can predict who is at risk and step in to stop the disease before it even starts? The research is heading in that direction, and it could completely change everything we think we know about this disease. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.